Hello, how are we all doing today, everybody? As you may know, this is my secondary channel, Scion EX, and it's secondary to Poke Scion. You know, you can find the link to that in the description down below. But over there, if you don't know already, then I mainly do Pokemon content. Please check it out if you're interested, because it would help me out a lot. I'm trying to grow over there primarily, but you know, over here it's just meant to be a sort of dump of just stuff that I would not put on my main channel otherwise, because it's not related to like the general topics that I would like to cover and stuff like that. But this channel is just mainly meant to be like a dump of everything else that isn't Pokemon or Nintendo related. So if you guys enjoy that, please subscribe over here and like the video, of course, because that lets me know that I should keep doing this thing that I'm doing right now. But with all that said, today, while we're fighting weekly bosses here, this is my main account, by the way. Today we're going to be talking about my story in Genshin Impact, the history of my account in Genshin Impact. I feel like it'd be a nice like segment every once a week or something like that to just go through a story. Probably that's probably all it's going to be for right now. But anyhow, yeah, getting into it, I started playing this game near like the launch of it, like back in September of 2020, September or October, somewhere around that range, right? And I gotta say, I was expecting very Breath of the Wild type things, because you know that's what people sold it to me as. It's like a Breath of the Wild, but anime, and that's kind of like what sold me at first, because I thought it was like, damn, I've been wanting a game like this ever since Breath of the Wild came out for the Switch. And I wanted it on PC, more specifically. Now, granted, there might be other alternatives, but of course, like, you know, none of them are quite like Genshin Impact in the way that it's free to get into, free to start, free to play. But of course, the Genshin has the thing of it being a gacha, which is kind of like degraded my opinion of it a little bit at the beginning. Of course, going into it more, that was not too much of a problem. I mean, it still is. I mean, there will never not be a problem with a gacha game. That's just a fact. There will never not be a problem. But the fact was that I came to this game because it was like an explorative type, you know, do most of what you want, not everything, but most of what you would want to do in a game. Like I said, it's like Breath of the Wild 0.5. I still think that today. It is still Breath of the Wild 0.5 to me, because you don't get as much freedom. But anyhow, that's another thing for another day. But, yeah, so I started back in September of 2020, or October-ish. I was kind of on and off, like, for the first few days of me playing, because I was like, everything was time-gated, everything was level-gated, and back then, we were capped at AR 40. This was before the second part of the Liyue story quest came out, right? The Liyue Archon quest, sorry. So this was, like, before we got into the whole ordeal with Child, or Tartaglia, and before that whole segment became a thing with the Jade Chamber. So I was sat there waiting for 3 weeks, waiting for something to happen, which I'm sure at this point, like most of you folk have already been through that part of the game, or getting to it, but you're not time gated because it's already out. It's already out for the world to see. But, yeah, that was quite the struggle back then. Leading up to it, like the first few months, I did play free-to-play, because I wasn't too stressed out about the characters and whatnot. I was like, yeah, it's whatever. But then, of course, as you play through the game more, you start to learn about the characters more, and you start to think that they're really cool, and that you like their playstyle or how broken they are. For example, Diluc. Diluc was one of the primary characters that got me into, like, liking the characters in this game, because he was so sick. I still like him to this day. By the way, I'm a heavy Diluc main, okay? You will never sell me on Hu Tao ever, okay? Also, just for the people who are bound to say, yes, I have an alternate account that is like completely free to play, and it is AR-55, nearing AR-56, and yes, I do have Hu Tao on that account. But no, I was still like a Diluc. Yeah, I am forever Diluc, okay? Diluc was one of my selling points, one of the characters that was a selling point to me, and yeah, he was one of my first 5 stars, which I couldn't believe it, but back then, I did not know what the hell a 50-50 was. So you can imagine the conflicting thoughts, because another character that sold the game for me was Tartaglia. And guess who lost on Tartaglia Banner? To Diluc. Yeah, you listen, yeah, no, you're here, yeah, no, You're hearing it straight from the person who did. I got my most wanted character. but I lost on the second most wanted character's banner. I'm sure you're just looking at the gameplay still. Yes, I do own Zhongli, but this was from the most recent rerun. Now, I'll tell you why. When Zhongli first came out, I was like most of the other people that was like, okay, he's not doing enough to really, like, make him worth it, right? He's not really doing enough to make him worth it, because at the time, he was pretty comparable to Noelle, which might sound crazy to people nowadays, but he was pretty comparable to Noelle, besides the whole stun. His shield was basically the same as Noelle's, in terms of durability-wise. And not like completely the same, but pretty comparable, right? And at that point, it was just like, why would you spend your Primogems on a character who's pretty much so similar? But now, of course, rose-tinted lenses, a few months later, of course, that's just completely wrong and thrown out the window. But at the time, that was all the information we had to go off of because we didn't know if characters were going to get buffed or not. After that, Albedo came around. I got Albedo because I was like, he seems pretty damn cool. And you know what? Now, you know, a year and a half later, yeah, he is because of the Husk set, right? And the Cinnabar Spindle. But at the time, he was pretty mid. He was pretty mid. I ain't gonna even cap. He was pretty mid. So, you know, you can imagine the shock I had when Zhongli got buffed, and then I could have actually gotten Zhongli if I really pulled for it, because I had like 310 pulls saved by the time his banner was like gonna be over. And I was like, yes, I'm gonna dump this onto Albedo because he looks pretty damn sick as a character, and which, I mean, as a character, he's pretty damn sick, so I'm not gonna go back on that one. But at the time, him as a unit was kind of questionable, you know? Like, yeah, but anyhow. And I think I'm at a pretty good spot now. I'm AR 59 as of me saying this. Of course, it may not seem like that in the video, but I am at the point where I just have everything I need and most of what I want, because I still want Ito. And I saved during Ito's banner because Zhongli was right after. So that was like a kick in the nuts, you know? Well, not right after, but, you know, close enough afterwards to where it, like, I needed to save, because I was damn near pity as well. I was like 70-ish pity, and it was 50-50, so I literally saved to guarantee a 5-star one time and then another 5-star after that being guaranteed. So like I had enough Primogems to do it. But yeah, so I mean, I got Kazuha, I got Tartag months later, you know, during his Windbloom rerun, his 1.4 rerun. And that was a pretty monumental moment for me, because that literally sparked all my interest back. Because I think around that time I was getting pretty bored of what was in the game, right? Yes, I had Ganyu from that time. Yes, I had Diluc, but at the same time, I didn't have, like, you know, what I have nowadays. Obviously, that being Gravestone, because I think back then I was rocking a freaking Archaic. I was rocking a prototype Archaic, guys. And like my dream since the beginning was to own Diluc with a Wolf's Gravestone. And a few weeks ago, I got it. I was so goddamn happy. It was actually amazing. I will say, I did get my dream combo. But yeah, I think around that time I was getting like pretty worn out or something or other, right? That was in April of last year. Yeah, like, do you really expect me to remember how I feel, you know, or felt at the time? I have no idea. All I know is I got burnt out. I got Tartag. That burnt out immediately just got wiped from the board. Like I just felt like the game was fun again. And Tartaglia literally did all that for me. And I still love him as a character and as a unit to this day. Him and Diluc are still both my main two reasons for why I log in every day. I'm not even gonna cap. I can't cap, but yeah, I'll probably tell a little bit more after that. You know, of the story of what happened after that. If you guys want to hear it, of course. It's been a long time since April of last year, so you know there's still a lot more to say. But hopefully you guys did enjoy that, and if you guys did, as always, please leave a like, comment down below what you think, any questions even. Make this into a bit of a Q&A thing. But with that said, thank you all so much for watching once again. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.